I'm sure it's one that will make its way into the rest of the slideshow. Thank you, Hunter. I think this is you. Hunter got tired of me blaming him whenever I wouldn't start up the recording. So there's our first slide, and yes, we are now recording. So thank you. It's a very good reminder, and we should have thought of this, I don't know, 18 months ago. Would have saved me at least 3 or 4 times having to re-record. Interesting bits, again, the mindful meditation. Did any of you go to Thursdays? You did? How was it? Was it? Well, cool. Yeah, it shouldn't. It's just supposed to be a little relaxation thing, unwind. So they have another one coming up on Tuesday. We have at least one positive, lukewarm response to it. But keep it in mind. If you're interested, Tuesday they have a little mindful meditation online, I guess. Was it online? Can you mindfully meditate as a group? Like, is that like a kumbaya circle? Cool. Wasn't particularly. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, they're trying. We will give them credit for that. Awesome. Hunter, did you want to talk about this?
I suppose I could. It's basically just we've got a Teespring store from I think probably a few months or years back now. That's got a couple different things like T-shirts, hoodies, mugs, iPhone cases, stuff like that at as low as cost as we can get them. So if you want to support RCOS, you can check out these different merch items and potentially buy one.
And this is support in a rah-rah sense. We actually don't make any money off this. This is just, we put some logos out there, so you get it at cost essentially. So there's no pressure. We don't make any money. But if you want to go out, and I put up a QR code for it as well. So if you want to, you're welcome to. I have some shirts up in my room. At some point, we'll figure out what to do with them. They've kind of been sitting there since COVID or a little before. Here's the standard stuff: syllabus and the summary of the syllabus. Again, we're trying to do some of our project meetings in this time after class, mainly because office hours haven't been all that tremendously busy. But Carnegie 113, if you're on campus, come there after we get done talking, right around 2 o'clock, hopefully. Or just join us online and ask questions. We can move to private rooms. We can do what we need to do if you need to talk privately about something. And if none of these work for you as far as office hours go, that's perfectly fine. Just drop me a line, and we'll either arrange to meet on campus or we'll just start up a WebEx and get together. So I'm going to hold these as my formal office hours just because it's convenient, and I have some of you at least here, so it's more convenient if you actually have to ask a question rather than trying to remember and sneak it in. So we'll just do this for now. I did update rainbow grades through 6/22, which was Tuesday. I actually upgraded rainbow grades up through 6/24, which is Thursday. So this means that I do have anybody who attended the licensing webinar, the licensing workshop, even if you watched it afterward. I think there were 4 people who watched it online. I gave you guys credit as well. So it should be fixed up through then. For anything that we broadcast last week, I think that was up through 6/17. All of the workshops from last week, all of the attendances from last week. You have until midnight tonight to get me in any fixes, any things we missed. Otherwise, we're going to kind of mark those as solid. And after, next Friday, everything that I'm talking about today is going to be solid as well. So, so please kind of get us those in a timely fashion. You'll notice that if you go to the Rainbow grades, we don't have your first status updates graded yet. They're actually almost graded, and there was a thought in the back of my mind about trying to push that through the day before class. We will get you feedback on that first set as quickly as possible, but I did give the mentors the first crack at taking a look at those, and I gave them until the 29th, which I think is, I don't know, Tuesday, something. So, those will be up to date fairly quickly, and we will get those to you before break so that you'll have some idea. I'm not sure we'll have them before status update 2 is due. Maybe I'll extend that date. We can think about that a little bit. Again, we have all the projects available. What I want you to notice on this one is that we have 25 projects, I think. I counted them all up. So we have 20. And it is not behaving nicely for me. Probably helps to have these things up first. There we go, 25. Yeah, 25 projects, 67 students signed up. There is still one student that I don't have final confirmation on their project. So please, I think I know what project you're going on or what project you intended to go on, but I never got confirmation that you'd made that you joined the team, and you're currently not listed on a team in the proposal, in the project proposal on Submittee. So, please get back to me. Let me know what project you're on so I can get that all set up correctly. I'd like to make sure that we're all working on something by the end of, well, by now. The internet seems to be pretty awful today as far as, there we go, 25 and 67. Awful long time to get one number out. Yes? So yeah, so there's so if you got a 4, if you got a 5, obviously everything's good, right? It was pretty much what we were looking for. If you got a 4, there are some things that can be touched up. I don't care if you resubmit it or not. It doesn't count against you to have a 4 on the proposal. If you got a 3, what I would like you to do is take a look at it. I don't think anybody got below a 3. You guys actually did really, really well on the proposals. But if you got below a 4, if you got a 3 or lower, yeah, take a look at it. Take a look at the critiques we have, and try to get back. Try to submit another version. Just because the whole goal of this is not to penalize you or ping you on anything. It's to make sure these are lessons we've learned from projects that have gone on in the past. And if there's things that are missing, the projects oftentimes, the projects that tend to founder are things that are projects that have things missing out of this proposal. So yeah, just go over it again. It's not a high bar. The submissions are open. Submit it. It'll tell you you're late. Don't worry about that. And then just ping me, and I'll take care of taking another look at it, making sure that everything's working correctly or everything's correct, and get you any additional feedback. The other part of that is one of the things we're asking you to do today that you'll get to in just a second here is we're asking you to sign up for meetings with Professor Makis and myself. There are 25 groups. Only 5 of you have signed up to meet with us. we want to meet with you after you have your proposal feedback. So take a look at your proposals. Make sure you sign up to talk to us. We'd like to talk to you, before, we're coming up to the end of the first half of the semester. And we want to make sure that everybody's working on something and has any questions they have are answered, and we know roughly what you're working on. We've looked at all the proposals, but I can tell you that it's hard to put faces to proposals when you go through the proposal and you see a bunch of text and there's a couple of names, and then I come out here and you guys are all wearing masks like I'm like banditos or something, So it's good to kind of meet and kind of talk these things through, and we can meet here after class, or we can loop in Professor Makis online, or we can meet at any of the times that are set up, and we'll talk about that in just a second, I guess. I've said this a number of times. This is where we are. We are in week 5. We're finishing up week 5, so we are about here. We're honing in on the end of this semester. There's only 12 weeks in this summer semester. So, we are fast approaching when we have to get things done. And what is going on here? Yeah. So, so kind of keep that in mind. We are past the first part of the semester. We're at the point where I want you guys to be kind of executing on things, getting things done. Meeting here as a group really is a good idea if you can swing it. I know some of you are remote, some of you are in Lake George because because you're lucky. People are scattered over. But if you're around, come down here, meet with your group, ask any questions. It actually helps to get together, and it's not necessary for open source projects, but it certainly does not hurt us. We do have workshops. The only workshop we had this week was the one on open source licensing. It actually ran about an hour. I should have cut more slides out of it because every time I got going on a slide about one of the topics that I wanted you guys to talk about, the slides actually had a lot more information. They were intended for a much longer than 1 hour workshop. And I think I got a little sidetracked every now and then. But hopefully you come out of it at the end knowing about open source licensing, why we need to license, and how to go about and pick a good license. I'm just going to throw out one more time that the really great thing, what you guys, if you are having a problem coming up with what license to use on a new project, if you pick something like a permissive license, like an Apache or a MIT or a BSD, and you want to change it later, the beauty of those licenses is you can always change it. If you go with a less permissive license, you are kind of, once you've chosen a less permissive license, you are kind of locked into that path, unless you get all the copyright holders to agree, which means you either need a contributor's agreement, so you hold the copyright to everybody else's contributions, or anybody who's contributed has to kind of go along with it. That is possible. For example, GPL2 did not allow you to migrate to any other GPL version. So when GPL3 came out, which closed a bunch of holes that that people felt the GPL2 had left, some very big projects went around and got signed confirmations from all of the people who had made contributions or stripped out the code that was only licensed under GPL2 and used that as the starting point so that they could license to GPL3. That's why if you look at GPL3, the GPL3 says that you can license any of your additional contributions under GPL3 or any subsequent GPL version code. Anyway, so just, that's just a quick sideline. I think I've recommended to people before that they look at MIT, BSD, or Apache, the permissive ones, and that's essentially why. If you choose one of those, it doesn't have to be your final choice. It only governs what you're doing right now. James Krovo is going to be our next person on the chopping block. He's going to talk about Redis and NASFAC on 0630. That's next Wednesday? Next Wednesday. Yeah, of course, it says Wednesday there. I talked to James. He was the first one to sign up for the Meet Your Professors. And I had a nice long talk with him. It went longer than, hopefully he didn't mind. I kept him a little longer than I promised. He's doing a really interesting project. NASVAC is an interesting, fun project. He'll talk about that some, and then he'll also talk about Redis, which is a database, that you can use to do fun projects. So anyway, hopefully that'll be as good as my discussion with him was, and I would recommend it. Graham is going to talk about React. That's also going to be 6:30, although it's going to be at 2 p.m. instead of 7:30 p.m. I should have these in the wrong order. So React is a very popular JavaScript, what do you call it, library. Yeah, it's kind of like a language template kind of thing that allows you to make really nice websites very quickly. They look very professional. Graham will talk to you about that, and hopefully that will result in multitudes of very nice projects going forward. Ellis may be changing this, but Ellis is a math person, and she likes weird math. So she was going to do a talk on weird math. But then we started talking about people wanting a discussion on or evaluation of resumes, and she may be taking that one up instead. I'm going to allow her to tell me whatever it is she actually intends to do. But either way, I think it's going to be good. One's going to be good for our minds, and the other's going to be good for our pocketbooks. So, good. We don't have much today. Status update 2 is due, right? Every Friday we're going to have an update due. I give you until Monday to get it in. It should cover everything since your last submitted status update. We are going to drop 3 of them, so you're still in the range that if you haven't submitted anything, you're still okay. But I'm strongly recommending that you get one of these first couple in so that you can kind of see how it goes. And if there are any problems with your status updates, you learn about it before they really start counting. Because next week, again, is the midpoint of the semester. And just talking about the semester, here's kind of the rest of the academic schedule. We're past June 7th, so you can't add classes for summer term 1. July 2nd is the last date for students to drop classes. I've been giving you updates on status on your rainbow grades, so hopefully none of you are surprised about where you stand. I know we haven't had anything of major value yet, and quite honestly, the status updates are not of major. A single status update is not of a major grade hit anyway, but I will. That's why I'm pushing so hard to get your status updates graded and get you some additional feedback early next week. Early next week if possible. So we will get you, at least one more set of rainbow grades, including your first status update by the 2nd, so you can kind of decide where you sit. And again, if you haven't told me what project you're on, please do it, today if possible. Certainly by July 2nd. After that, we have a few days off, which is really kind of cool. I'm looking forward to it. I'll actually be traveling to Indiana to help my son move into a interim apartment before he starts his graduate studies at Notre Dame. So that means that I get to go back down in August and help him move into his permanent place, or at least his place for the next year. But I'm looking forward to that. I think we have a trip planned to Cedar Point. So assuming I survive the roller coasters, I will see you again that following Tuesday, which is probably, the 13th or something. July 3rd is the last day to add or remove pass no credit designation. So if you're thinking about that, pass no credit is the end of July, and then we are done. There won't be a final. We will ask you for a final summary of your contributions before August 20th. We won't have a final exam, and we will get you graded up as quickly as possible after that. But that's the date we're looking for. And then I think fall semester starts August 21st, right? Something like that? No, it starts about a week or so after that, about 10 days maybe. Here's the important thing. We do need you guys to sign up and give us times. It's not a big ask, right? We're not asking you guys to do a big presentation. You will do a presentation toward the end of the semester. In fact, about 65% of your grade will come in the last 2 weeks of the semester, which is kind of scary, but remember, we're building that all through the semester by making our commits and putting them in our status updates so you know what you have. The schedule looks like this. Please try to give us, don't sign up for a 10 a.m. Thursday meeting at 9 a.m. on Thursday because I'm probably going to miss it. Is anybody else having really slow internet today? And I'm on campus too. No? This is just pathetic. Anyway, it looks like this. You can put your name, your project name, unknown project, meet in Discord channel, or maybe pop in your WebEx if you want to meet in WebEx instead. Just tell us who you are. Pick a time that's not in black. Black are the times when either Professor Makis or myself are not available. We are really trying to get these done by the midpoint of the semester, because the next thing we're going to ask you to do is we're going to ask you to give us a summary of your contributions to date. And again, this is just a way for you guys to pull everything together and us to kind of evaluate and let you know whether you're on track or whether you need a little extra work. We want to get these done as quickly as possible so that we can push these through. So we have two this week, one yesterday and one at 3:40 today. Yes, 3:40 today. And then that means we have to get through 23 of them next week. And you can see we have 5, right? So there's 18 more there. There are way more than 18 spaces. Be kind about, way more than 18 empty spaces. Be kind about things like early in the morning, scheduling an early in the morning one the night before we go, because quite honestly, you got to hope that I get there and look at the schedule in time to actually make the meeting, right? But if you put on a 10 o'clock Monday now, that's perfectly fine. We'll see you 10 o'clock Monday. But just pick up time. No big, not much you guys need to do with this, right? You don't have to prepare slides. All you have to do is be prepared to kind of talk about your project and answer some questions and ask any questions that you have. We're particularly interested in questions about what counts as a contribution. What do I do if if my project is an external project and I don't really know how I'm in a learning mode and I don't know how to get my stuff taken into a project. I don't have the experience. All of those things we can kind of answer for you. We can help you out. But you guys need to actually ask us the questions or at least be there, sign up, and talk to us. Any questions about that? I'm getting the video quality is so bad. I am sorry. I don't know, like I said, I'm not really sure what's going on. I rebooted this machine before we started, and normally that's enough to make things work relatively well. Apparently today there is something going on. I can't even get my spreadsheets to load, my Google Sheets to load. Okay, finally, this is what the Rensselaer Center for Open Source front page works on. I know that Nia is working on getting us a better version, but for right now, this is what we have. We're hoping, I think, in the next month or so to launch our beta, right, Nia? But for now, we're using kind of this old website, and you'll see down here there's some statistics. So I can look at the statistics and see how many active projects we have this semester. And when I look, right now we've gotten 4 additional ones. We're at 19 out of 25 projects. That means 6 of you still haven't gone to this page and either marked yourselves as active if you're an existing project. We mark everybody as inactive at the start of the semester. So you do have to actually go in, select your project, and mark yourself as active, or you're doing a new project and you didn't put yourself on here. So please, take some time. It only takes like 2 minutes. It's a quick little set of information, name of the project, a quick blurb. You can take that directly from your proposal, a link to your GitHub account, good motivation to start up your GitHub account, and you kind of go from there. When you're done, we can see everybody kind of sitting up here. This is the past projects, I guess. If you want to go in and mark yourself as active, you just click over here on the button. This button will say past when you first get to the page. You click it, it'll turn to current. All of the projects will pop up, and then you just click on the little mark active button. All right, any questions? Hunter, Nia, Evan, do you want to say anything before we kind of wrap this up and let people start working?
I don't think so.
Hunter says good. Evan says that he doesn't think so. All right, so let's do attendance. Again, fire off your browser or your phone so you get to the venue website. And while you are doing that, I will hopefully bring up the magic code. Yeah, that's how slow it's taken me. I mean, this is just a really simple website, and that's how slow it took me to, it just now completely loaded. So, this is pretty abysmal right now for some reason. All right, so that should be, right, the first QR code should take you to venue, and then you scan in the second one, and you should be all attended. All right, any questions? Anything else going on? Yep. Right, so the question is, what do I do with the workshops to get credit for watching the workshops asynchronously? For the licensing one, the easiest thing to do is just watch it on Venue, and every week, and then let me know, and I'll go back and just pick your name off the list. Because Venue will track if you watched. You have to watch, I think it's 80% of it. Watch all of it. All the best stuff is at the end anyway. But yeah, so if you're going to that one, just watch it on Venue, and it'll automatically, I can already automatically pick your name out of it. For all the other ones, if you watch one of the non-venuized, venuified or whatever workshops, either contact the person who gave the workshop and tell them you watched it, and they'll either ask you a question or ask you to send a fact, or DM me. If you DM me, tell me an interesting fact. Otherwise, I'll just ask you. That's my modus operandi. You can get credit for up to 3 of these. 2 of them can replace missing attendances otherwise, and you are required to do one as an attendance, right? So 3 of them, up to 3 of them count, but these are some really good pointers on technologies that a lot of you are using on projects that exist that you may want to know about. So I encourage you to watch as many of them as you can. Put it on in the back, while you're watching While you're watching a boring lecture, watch one of these. No, don't do 2 lectures at once. Anyway, does that answer your question? Awesome, sounds good. All right, anything else? All right, so I'm going to stop the recording. We will get this loaded up for those of you watching asynchronously as quickly as possible. I'm going to hang around